Hello and welcome to the Civil Times. Today we'll discuss the the editorials of 15 February 2019. These are the articles we are covering. Now the first article is stress points of democracy. In this election year in India, we need to keep a sharper eye on weakening of institution. Now M.K. Narayan, who is M.K. Narayan? He is the former National Security Advisor and a former Governor of Bengal. Now when you go through this article, you will see that he is overly skeptical of what is happening. And ज़्यादा नहीं कहेंगे, but he was under the UPA and therefore sort of socialist. ठीक है, that is enough for you to understand कि ये कहाँ क्या बोलेंगे. ठीक है. Now what this article is basically saying that is there is a steady undermining of institutional knowledge structures around the world. Democracy is under threat. Authoritarian tendencies are on the ascendant. Russia's Vladimir Putin, China के Jinping, Turkey के Recep Tayyip Erdogan. These are constantly projected as the faces of authoritarianism. ये सीधा नहीं बोल रहे हैं, लेकिन the aim is towards मोदी जी also. ठीक है. So basically आपका ये हो गया. Now he provides these examples. Now there are many. However, the main issue is कि some people are directly कि हाँ चलो authoritarian. But आजकल क्या हो गया? There are many democratic leaders also who reveal a similar authoritarian streak. जैसे आपके मोदी जी इन ऑथर के अनुसार, जो कि इनका अपना खुद का व्यू पॉइंट है. ठीक है ना. एंड ये लेफ्टिस्ट टाइप ही लिखते हैं. एंड ही इज ओवरली पेसिमिस्टिक बिकॉज यूपी के अंदर थे. ठीक है. And it may be too early to predict the demise of democracy, but the reality is that it is not a good time for democratic institutions. Decisions today are handed down rather than being an outcome of discussion or debate. International institutions such as the World Bank are facing the heat today for not conforming to the prescription of certain powerful members, basically USA. Brexit debate also points out how the democracy in the world is going awry. ठीक है. Brexit. Now the US, which prides itself to be the leading democracy, has set a bad example under Donald Trump, where arbitrary decision making has replaced informed debate. Now the articles in Hindu are disgusting for the simple fact that these are mostly anti-right, and these are not balanced articles. And as your previous UPSC topper Anudeep Duri Shetty has also said that this Hindu is basically patently leftist. ठीक है ना. Basically anti-government because the current incumbent government is your BJP. ठीक है. Now moving further, his diatribe against what he describes as a ridiculous partisan investigation against him is an indication. Another is his determination to build a wall to keep out the Mexicans, even risking an extended shutdown of the US government. Decision of the US to withdraw from the IRNF. Now we had discussed this before. This was a key pact signed in 1987, hailed as the centerpiece. ठीक है ना. So what I was saying before, that these articles are basically opinions. You're supposed to choose out important balanced viewpoints from this, balanced points from such editorials and articles, and only that you should take it in your essays and your mains answers. You cannot go against the government in your mains answers because you are applying for a job under the central government itself. ठीक है ना. IAS IPS आपका गवर्नमेंट के अंदर ही है, तो आप यहाँ पे वहां जाके आप गवर्नमेंट की बेइज्जती नहीं कर सकते. समझे ये बात. ठीक है ना. तो जस्ट पिक आउट दोज बैलेंस पॉइंट्स. ठीक है ना. यहाँ पे ये लोग एक्सेसिवली पेसिमिस्टिक हो जाते हैं, तो दैट इज नॉट अ गुड थिंग. ठीक है. तो डिसीजन ऑफ दिस एंड इट कुड बी सेटिंग द स्टेज फॉर कोल्ड वॉर 2, फेडरल फॉलआउट. Chief ministers, currently we are witnessing this exchange between PM and some chief ministers. ये भी चीज हुई है. Accusations such as fomenting riots वगैरह वगैरह. Interstate relations are turning bad. There is selective interpretation of information, which is the fallout of such situation. That is the decline of institutions, knowledge institutions, and your institution knowledge structures. Authority, ठीक है ना. Disinformation. That data which is opposed to the government is not accepted by the government itself, whereas the opposition accuses the government of basically lacking probity. An example in this case would be your Rafale deal, over which mostly such things have risen up. Moreover, another such issue pertaining to your selective interpretation of information is your recently वो NSSO data वाला, where the unemployment jobs data is being questioned कि whether it is genuine or not. ठीक है. The opposition is citing the data to say that the unemployment under the government has risen to 6.1%, which is the highest in India since independence, or since 4 decades at least. ठीक है. Whereas the government is saying that this is only a draft data. ठीक है, ये final data नहीं है भाई. So this is an issue. Moreover, a 45-year high, the same thing what we have said. Similarly, our GDP estimates are also being questioned, ठीक है, which the government has released. Independence of institutions and processes under threat. RBI का functional independence reduce करने की कोशिश की गई थी. Sorry, this is being accused by the author N.K. Narayanan, and it was compelled to fall in line with the views of the government, which led to resignation of the RBI governor. ठीक है. And similarly, the interim budget announced on the eve of the 2000 with long SOPs. According to the author, intentions placed build more support for the ruling dispensation in an election year. So all these are basically pointing out to your decline according to the author. Alongside the decline in democratic conventions, another virtual collapse of key institutions. The CBI is basically being used as a tool of the central government. It was created under DSPE, which is your Delhi Special Police Establishment Act. CBI serves many masters. ठीक है ना? CBI का independence खत्म हो गया है. There was a recent fight between the director, Kilkenny cat fight between the director and his number 2 in CBI. ठीक है, which is your Alok Verma case. Similarly, you have the CBI versus your Kolkata Police Commissioner, which recently not only highlighted the decline of police as well as your CBI, but also it pointed out the worsening center-state relations under your in the modern times, which M.K. Narayan is pointing out basically, and these are the points of stress in a democracy. Now this question, this is important, this unemployment crisis of a year. Now such articles are important because they provide viewpoints from all, and in the end you can reach a common what do you say, you can reach a balanced view which you can write in your answer. ठीक है. So now let us discuss this. See, what is the author saying? Now what is the question here? What is the context here? This is the context of the recent leaked NSSO data, जिसमें ऑपोजिशन ने ये बात पकड़ ली है कि लास्ट 45 इयर्स में, जैसा हमने पिछले आर्टिकल में डिस्कस किया, अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट 6.1% पे चला गया है, which is highest in the last 45 years. Now these authors are providing basically your positive, negative. They are agreeing that there is an employment crisis. He is disagreeing with it, and she gives a balanced viewpoint. Now what is this Mahesh Vyas is saying? Now he is the CEO of CMIE, which has been touted as one of the most comprehensive jobs data in recent times, and this is a private entity, mind you, not a government entity. And we had discussed an article by him, recent editorial by him in the past few days. You can refer to that article, where he provides the methodology which CMIE has adopted for conducting his jobs data. Job situation in India does not reflect a crisis, but it is a matter of serious concern. A populous and demographically young country like India has a lot to gain if you can provide lots of employment to its young population. More handed work can ensure greater prosperity. Now, problems of unemployment. If India cannot provide employment to its growing working age population, it risks becoming an unmanageable and unruly country. Unemployed youth can lose hope of a job and easily stray into becoming unsocial elements. A bigger problem. What is a bigger problem? That those who get the jobs do not care about those who are not getting. Basically, the blame is laid at the feet of the unemployed. कि भाई वो इसको नौकरी नहीं मिल रही, उसी में कुछ खामी होगी. बेसिकली यही चीज कहना चाह रहे हैं ये, लेकिन उसका पीछे जो है वो सोशल, एक मैक्रो इकोनॉमिक एंड सोशल डायमेंशन भी होता है, जिसकी वजह से उनको नौकरी नहीं मिल पाई. अब ये क्या है, इसमें ये डायमेंशन क्या है? सी फर्स्ट, there is an investment deficit in India. ठीक है ना, there is an investment deficit. Now his own entity CMIE Capex database has demonstrated there is a persistent fall in new investment proposal since 2011 and 12. Impact इसका क्या हुआ है? There has been shrinking in the number of jobs. Number of persons who are employed has declined by 11 million. Now this is a exaggerated number, or what his survey has released. But this person TV Mohan Das Pai will basically counter it नीचे. ठीक है, उसको आगे पढ़ेंगे हम लोग. और number of persons employed has declined by 11 million. Moreover, there is a substantial fall in employment, this author is saying. ठीक है. Now, further, what is a greater crisis is that this fall in jobs is not translating into a proportional rise in unemployment. It is showing up in the fall in labor participation rate. Now, a rise in unemployment is bad, but a fall in labor participation rate is worse. अब देखो, अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट रेट का मतलब क्या हुआ कि भैया इन लोगों के पास जॉब्स नहीं है, जॉब्स की कमी है एज कम्पेयर टू द डिमांड फॉर द नंबर ऑफ जॉब्स. लेकिन लेबर पार्टिसिपेशन रेट अगर गिर रहा है, इसका मतलब क्या है कि ये लोग जो है जॉब ढूंढ ही नहीं रहे हैं, मतलब दे हैव लॉस्ट द होप फॉर सर्चिंग फॉर अ जॉब. This is what is meant. This is a worse crisis as compared to your fallen a rise in unemployment rate. Now this entire unemployment crisis is basically countered by your TV Mohandas Pai. यहाँ पे ठीक है ना. Now what is he saying? He is saying that most of the analysis जो अभी तक किया गया है that is based on incomplete representation of the labor market. ठीक है. पहली बात, the recent surveys that profess spiring unemployment are either unverifiable हैं or they are heavily skewed by sampling biases. Moreover, these narrative raises questions on political motivations behind these surveys. CMI has claimed that the total working population in India has declined by 11 million. ये CMI में मतलब आपके महेश व्यास जी ने, इनकी जो कंपनी है उसने वो कहा है कि 11 मिलियन यानी कि 110 लाख, यानी कि 1 करोड़ 1 लाख 10 लाख, ठीक है ना, इतने लोग जो हैं अब वर्क नहीं कर पा रहे हैं as compared to before. These preliminary estimates seem opportunistically quoted by think tank 2 months ahead of scheduled elections. ठीक है, ऑफ शेड्यूल. CMI ने एक बहुत ही मिनिस्क्यूल सी व्हाट इज द सैंपल ऑफ CMI ऊपर जो था ओनली 1,40,000 रिस्पोंडेंट्स, ठीक है, फॉर अ नेशन ऑफ मोर देन 1.3 बिलियन. तो विद रिगार्ड्स टू लीक्ड रिजल्ट्स ऑफ NSSO, तो ही हैज बेसिकली काउंटेड बोथ दीज. तो पहली बात है जो CMI ने जो क्लेम किया था कि 1 करोड़ 10 लाख जो है लोग बाहर हो गए नौकरियों से, उसको क्लेम किया है कि इनका सैंपल बहुत ही छोटा है भाई, 1,40,000 का. दूसरा NSSO की जो लीड एक्सर्ट थी, जिसको ऑपोजिशन उठा के बोल रही है कि भाई पिछले 45 सालों में आपका अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट जो है 6.1% हो गया है, उसको काउंटर करते हुए टीवी मोहनदास पाई जी कह रहे हैं कि जो इसमें मेथोडोलॉजी यूज की गई है उसको पब्लिक के सामने डिस्क्लोज नहीं किया है. तो हाउ कैन यू बेसिकली वेरीफाई वेदर जो ये आप परसेंटेज बता रहे हो इट इज राइट और रॉन्ग, जब गवर्नमेंट ने कह दिया कि दैट इज अ ड्राफ्ट एंड वो फाइनल नहीं है, विल बी रिलीजिंग इट शॉर्टली. Even estimating a macro profile of employment for the country based on a survey of even 2 million participants is not statistically valid. Such surveys have biased weights, ठीक है ना, and they recently are contradicted by more concrete research. They give higher weight to states, larger proportion, large and with large. अच्छा ठीक है. तो यहाँ पे क्या कह रहे हैं कि जो स्टेटिस्टिकली जो आपको ये होती है ये भी आपकी रिलायबल नहीं है बिकॉज दीज आर कॉन्ट्रडिक्टेड बाय मोर कॉन्क्रीट. ये जो सर्वे है इसमें हायर वेट दिया जाता है उन स्टेट को जिनकी ज्यादा पॉपुलेशन है लेकिन वहां पे फॉर्मल जॉब्स कम क्रिएट होता है. देयर इज अ हायर सप्लाई ऑफ फॉर्मल जॉब्स इन महाराष्ट्र एंड इन साउथ इंडिया रादर देन इन स्टेट्स लाइक उत्तर प्रदेश एंड बिहार. जॉब्स आर बीइंग क्रिएटेड इन बिग सिटीज, हाउ सिटीज हैव बीन गिवन लेस वेट. ठीक है ना. तो बेसिकली आप इन सर्वेज पे कैसे रिलाई कर सकते हो. बेटर प्लेस सेफ्टी सॉल्यूशंस है जिसने कहा है this has one of the deepest databases of the formal sector workforce in India. Now this has recently released these revelatory migration trends. The creation of formal. India has been creating formal jobs in large numbers which has not been recorded by जो आपके ये सर्वेज हैं. ठीक है ना. फिर आगे इन्होंने वो डेटा दिया है कुछ certain jobs in large numbers we have estimated India रखा है. ठीक है. उन्होंने कहा है कि इंडिया रिक्वायर्स अराउंड 1.4 हाउ बिकॉज 2.5 करोड़ पीपल आर बेसिकली अटेनिंग द एज ऑफ 21 हु विल बी बेसिकली नीडिंग जॉब्स. हाउएवर 40% जो है या फिर उन्हें फॉर्मल जॉब्स नहीं चाहिए बिकॉज दे विल चूज एग्रीकल्चर या फिर वो होम मेकर बन जाएंगे. होम मेकर मतलब जो आपके हाउस वाइफ होती हैं. ठीक है. द सोशल सिक्योरिटी डेटाबेसेस पॉइंट टू अराउंड 70 लाख जॉब्स क्रिएटेड एनुअली. दिस कंपेयर्स विद दिस मच. ट्रांसपोर्ट सेक्टर में ये डेटा इन्होंने प्रोवाइड किया है. वहीं सब्रवाल के टीम लीज को भी इन्होंने सपोर्ट किया है. इशू क्या है भाई. मोर प्रेसिंग. सी now we come to the third who is Sabina Devan. Now she gives a balanced viewpoint. If she says it's complicated issue, the more pressing issue is that it is not unemployment, it is basically underemployment. Waiting for a good job. League data ने suggest किया है कि unemployment has risen to 6.1% last year. This is a worrying trend, true. लेकिन rise in unemployment can be explained by the fact that more people are entering into education. Education अगर अच्छी होगी तो you will be basically waiting for a good job, a better job rather than directly jumping into whatever the opportunity throws at you. ठीक है. बट जिनके पास पैसे नहीं है वो क्या करेंगे. उनको अपना बेसिकली पेट पालने के लिए उनको जो भी जॉब मिलेगा उस पर करने तैयार हो जाएंगे. बट जिनके पास थोड़ा भी पैसा है चाहे घर वालों के पास उनके खुद के पास वो कुछ टाइम वेट करके आगे पढ़ाई आगे और बढ़िया जॉब के लिए वेट कर लेंगे. So this is why there has been a rise in unemployment. The data show that unemployment is higher among the educated, lower among those with less financial means and education. Need to work to make ends meet also fuels India's larger informal economy. ठीक है ना? Need to work to make ends meet also fuels India's large informal economy. Over 90% of the employed are informal workers. In the non-farm sector, 66% of those employed are informal workers. ठीक है? The urgent crisis confronting therefore is not unemployment but it is underemployment. Underemployment क्या होता है कि workers are unable to find the employment that makes full use of their qualifications in this. Suppose an engineer is working in a mechanic shop. Underemployment or refers to sharing of low productivity work. Persistent underemployment also contributes to decline in labor force participation rate, which we had discussed before. Labor force participation rate क्या होता है कि बंदा जॉब ही नहीं ढूंढना चाह रहा. ठीक है ना? ये चीज हुई है, ये इसको सबसे ज्यादा because they are frustrated with the inability to find a good job for themselves. तो both underemployment and this form of discouragement कौन सा कि उनको ढंग का जॉब ही नहीं मिल रहा. ठीक है ना? These are a significant loss of productive potential. So what is the strategy to meet such a crisis? Not a crisis, but such a serious concern. इसके लिए क्या है कि improve the quality of jobs by improving productivity in agriculture enterprises में. Align education, technical and vocational education, ठीक है, and train them to market demand. Make enduring and long-term investments in human capital through good quality education, skills and on-the-job training, as well as basic social protection. So this was an important editorial from The Hindu. Now moving on to the Indian Express. Now it's a wage crisis. अब wage crisis में ये क्या कहना चाह रहा है? Let us go through this. See, in this article the author is again talking about the unemployment. वो जो डेटा का इशू हुआ है आपका, जहाँ पे कहा गया है कि अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट आपका पिछले 45 सालों में 6.1% यानी कि हाईएस्ट है. Now what is the author saying? देखो डिफरेंट क्या हुआ है वेज स्ट्रक्चर में. ठीक है, there is no basically because मतलब he is saying this author Manish Agarwal who was talked about Mohandas Pai in the previous यहाँ पे है ना, ये मोहनदास पाई जी ने आपके मनीष सब्रवाल की बात की थी, वही ऑथर हैं आपके यहाँ पे. तो ये क्या कह रहे हैं? ये कह रहे हैं कि अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट क्राइसिस नहीं है, बेसिकली एक वेज क्राइसिस है. वेज क्राइसिस में क्या हो गया? पहले जो आपका लो और जीरो मार्जिनल प्रोडक्टिविटी वाले फार्म्स थे, सेल्फ एम्प्लॉयमेंट या जो सबसिस्टेंस वाले वेज एम्प्लॉयमेंट थे, वो इंडिया के लेबर मार्केट के बिगेस्ट शॉक एब्जॉर्बर थे. शॉक एब्जॉर्बर मतलब कि इसमें मैक्सिमम लोग एम्प्लॉयड होते थे और बेसिकली वो लोग इसके अंदर अपने आप को सस्टेन भी कर लेते थे. लेकिन 1991 के बाद क्या हुआ है? ये शॉक एब्जॉर्बर जो है इट इज नॉट वर्किंग एनीमोर. व्हाई? बिकॉज जो इंडियंस 1991 के बाद पैदा हुए हैं, who have been born after 1991, they expect a living wage that meets their aspiration rather than a minimum wage. Minimum wage मतलब क्या हुआ? It basically keeps body and mind together. तीसरी बात, जो हायर वेज एक्सपेक्टेशंस हैं that can only be met by transition people to higher productivity sectors, geographies and firms. So this is the issue. जो आपका मैक्सिमम जो शॉक एब्जॉर्बर था, लो प्रोडक्टिविटी जॉब, लो जीरो मार्जिनल प्रोडक्टिविटी फार्म्स में, सेल्फ एम्प्लॉयमेंट में, सबसिस्टेंस वेज, वो आपकी अब खत्म हो गई 1991 के बाद. यही इनका बेसिकली क्रक्स है. ठीक है, अब इशू, अब करंट क्या इशू है? अब देखो, अब क्या डिबेट जो है, करंट डिबेट क्या है आपका? इट बेसिकली इज कंफ्यूजिंग जॉब्स विद वेजेस. एवरी इंडियन हु वांट्स अ जॉब हैज अ जॉब, बट दे आर नॉट गेटिंग द वेजेस दे वांट टू नीड. ठीक है, बिकॉज दे आर वर्किंग इन अनवायबल सेक्टर्स. 48% of our labor force on farm generates only 13%. ये unviable sector हो गया, यानी कि agriculture sector. Unviable firms मतलब 6.3 crore enterprises only translate to 19,500 companies with a paid up capital greater than 10 crore. Unviable entrepreneurship, 50% of our labor force is not self-employed but self-exploiting. Self-exploitation का meaning यहाँ पे कहा गया है. ठीक है ना? Unviable geographies मतलब 2 lakh of our 6 lakh villages have less than 200 people. ठीक. Sorry. Now what is the author saying? See, लेकिन see, तो बेसिकली अभी हमने यहाँ पे क्या समझा है कि ये जो आपकी इशू आ रही है वो जॉब क्राइसिस नहीं है, वो बेसिकली वेज क्राइसिस है. एंड पीपल जो आपके जो ऑपोजिशन है, जो आपके गवर्नमेंट को घेरे में लेना चाहती है बिकॉज ऑफ द राइजिंग अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट अकॉर्डिंग टू लीड एनालिसिस डेटा, दे आर कंफ्यूजिंग जॉब्स विथ वेजेस. अब जो इंडिया में जो बंदे हैं जो आपकी जॉब्स ढूंढ रहे हैं, दे ऑलरेडी हैव जॉब, लेकिन दे आर नॉट गेटिंग द वेजेस दे वांट. व्हाई? बिकॉज दे वर्किंग इन अनवायबल सेक्टर, एग्रीकल्चर वाला, अनवायबल फार्म्स, अनवायबल एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप, अनवायबल ज्योग्राफी. लेकिन अगर हायर वेज चाहिए तो इट नीड्स अ कॉम्प्लेक्स सिस्टम ऑफ हाई प्रोडक्टिविटी फर्म्स एंड इंडिविजुअल्स. IT firms are employing only 0.7% of India's labor force, लेकिन they produce 7% of India's GDP. अब इन्होंने एग्जांपल दिया है, वेटर अगर शिकागो में है, who with skills similar to a waiter in Jaipur, but he will make 20 times higher. Why? Because of the productivity of the customers eating in the restaurant. India's 20 million manufacturers SMEs have at least 25 times lower productivity than Germany. तो यहाँ पे इन्होंने एक केस स्टडी कंपैरिजन दिया है, which you can cite in your mains or even essay. Essentially, GDP of 114 million Maharashtrians is more than 204 million people in Uttar Pradesh because Maharashtra is more formalized, industrialized, financialized, urbanized, skilled. ठीक है ना, skilled. अब इन्होंने यहाँ पे कुछ डेटा कंपैरिजन के लिए दिया है, लेकिन अब वे फॉरवर्ड, अब देखो आगे इंडिया लेकिन रिफॉर्म्स क्या खिला रहा है. इंडिया इज ब्रेकिंग विद इट्स पास्ट. अब 6 मिलियन न्यू रजिस्टर्ड एंटरप्राइजेस है आफ्टर जीएसटी, 30 मिलियन न्यू सोशल सिक्योरिटी प्लेयर्स इन 3 इयर्स. ठीक है. न्यू मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी जो है, न्यू मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी कमिटी एंड फिस्कल डिसिप्लिन हैव ब्लंटेड इन्फ्लेशन. यहाँ पहले इन्फ्लेशन आपका 2014 में इतना था, अब देखो इन्फ्लेशन कहाँ पे आपका आ रहा है. न्यू बैंक्रप्सी लॉ, आईबीसी बेसिकली, ठीक है ना, इंसॉल्वेंसी एंड बैंक्रप्सी कोड. दिस स्टार्टेड रीसाइक्लिंग एसेट्स ऑफ 14 लाख crores. 1960s में ददना अबिया एलके झा ने कहा था कि रिसोर्स यूटिलाइजेशन इज एज इंपॉर्टेंट एज रिसोर्स मोबिलाइजेशन. डिजिटल पेमेंट्स आपके बढ़ गए हैं. इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर स्पेंडिंग हैज डबल्ड इन द लास्ट 5 years. He is basically pointing out the positive points which have been formulated or brought in by the incumbent government. And he is citing that जो आपकी job crisis थी, basically जो आपकी opposition cite कर रही है, वो job crisis नहीं है, it is basically a wage crisis. I hope this article is clear for you. ठीक है ना. अब आगे इन्होंने कुछ points बताए हैं which you can take them as way forward. And ठीक है, I'll leave the rest of the article for you. We'll move forward. That was all for today. And I should say thank you and have a good